In a world that's constantly screaming for your attention, a world where the loudest voice seems to win and the fastest reaction dominates the conversation, what if the greatest source of strength wasn't in speaking up, but in holding back? What if the secret to real peace and personal clarity wasn't some trendy productivity hack or a clever app, but an ancient practice that we've simply forgotten? The ancient Stoics, figures like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, understood something that our modern, hyper-connected lives have nearly erased: that silence is not emptiness. It is not passive. In fact, silence is one of the most powerful tools available to any person who wants to live with strength, clarity, and purpose. For the Stoics, silence was not retreat, it was readiness, it was strategy, it was sovereignty over one's own mind and actions. This is not about becoming a bystander in your life, it's the exact opposite. It's about reclaiming control in a chaotic world by mastering the active, deliberate, and often difficult art of silence. It's about learning to wield quiet as a force to reshape how you think, how you respond, and how you lead yourself and others. 1. Silence as a shield. Modern life is driven by reaction. A notification lights up your screen, you check it. An angry message comes in, you type a response. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you yell. It's automatic. In today's culture, reactivity is seen as natural, even necessary, but it's also a trap. In that tiny moment between trigger and reaction, we unknowingly hand away our power. The Stoics knew that the only true freedom lies in our ability to choose our response. While we cannot control what happens to us, we always control how we respond. Silence is the space where this control is built. It becomes a shield that gives us the power to pause, observe, and make conscious decisions, not knee-jerk ones. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and Stoic philosopher, faced war, disease, betrayal, and immense pressure, and still he wrote, "The best answer to anger is silence." This wasn't weakness, it was strength in its purest form. When someone sends you a hostile email, the instinct might be to reply in kind, instantly, emotionally, defensively. But what if instead you chose silence? You stepped back, waited, breathed, reflected. Hours later, you could respond with clarity and composure. Silence allows you to make decisions rooted in wisdom, not wounded pride. That brief pause, however small, is where self-mastery lives. It turns potential conflict into calm. It stops spirals of anxiety and reactivity before they start. It protects your energy and presence from being hijacked by external chaos. 2. Silence for mental clarity. We are drowning in noise. Headlines, group chats, social media feeds, podcasts, reminders, to-do lists. Our minds are overloaded with a constant, unfiltered stream of input. We scroll endlessly but think shallowly. We're always stimulated but rarely centered. Silence, according to Stoic thought, is the antidote. Seneca, the Roman philosopher and statesman, advised removing ourselves from the noise of the crowd, not out of arrogance, but because only in stillness can we hear ourselves think. Only in silence can we gain clarity on what matters and what doesn't. Picture your mind as a glass of muddy water. When constantly shaken, it stays cloudy. But let it sit in stillness, and the sediment settles to the bottom. The water becomes clear. Silence works the same way. It filters out the debris of distraction. It helps the important rise to the surface. Even modern neuroscience supports this. Studies show that silence, true silence, not just absence of speech, helps regenerate brain cells in the hippocampus, the region responsible for memory and emotion regulation. In silence, the brain doesn't shut off. It turns on its most reflective, creative, and analytical modes. Regular moments of intentional silence give you time to ask yourself the deeper questions. Am I acting in alignment with my values? Am I being guided by impulse or principle? Am I reacting to noise or responding with intention? In those quiet moments, your real self can surface, and that clarity is priceless. 3. Silence as a bridge to others. When it comes to communication, we often mistake talking for connection. We want to be heard, understood, validated, so we speak, explain, defend. But the Stoics saw things differently. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, famously said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we speak." Silence isn't disengagement. It's deeper engagement. It's the practice of fully showing up for the other person without trying to control, fix, or win. In arguments especially, silence can be transformative. When you're being criticized or misunderstood, the urge to interrupt or defend yourself is strong. But silence in that moment is not surrender, it's strategy. It de-escalates the conflict. It allows the other person's emotion to run its course without fueling it. And more often than not, that space you create will lead them to clarity too. Consider the difference between 2 leaders. One hears criticism and immediately responds with defensiveness, rationalizing or attacking back. The other listens quietly, makes eye contact, and waits. Then they respond not to win, but to understand and guide. That kind of composure signals strength. People trust leaders who can sit with discomfort without lashing out. In relationships, silence builds intimacy. When you listen without interrupting, when you give someone your undivided presence, you send a powerful message. You matter. I see you. I respect you. In a noisy world, that kind of attention is magnetic. 4. Silence and accepting reality. Much of our suffering comes from resisting what we cannot control. We fume about delays, worry about the future, and obsess over other people's choices. But Stoicism teaches that peace comes from accepting reality, not resigning to it, but choosing to stop wasting energy fighting the inevitable. The dichotomy of control is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. There are things you can control and things you cannot. Focus only on the first. But knowing this intellectually isn't enough. You have to feel it, and silence helps you do that. When something upsetting happens, silence gives you the space to pause and notice your emotions before you become them. You might feel anger, fear, or sadness. That's okay. Let it rise without reacting. Let it pass like a cloud in the sky. In that silent space you can ask, can I change this? If not, what can I change? Usually the answer lies within. For example, if you're passed over for a promotion, your reaction might be to blame others or sulk, but silence allows for reflection. You can sit with the disappointment, accept it, and then pivot. What can I learn? How can I grow? What's next? That mindset doesn't just lead to better outcomes, it builds inner peace. Silence teaches us that we don't need to control everything to be okay. We only need to master ourselves. Bringing Stoic silence into modern life. So how do we actually live this wisdom? It doesn't require a monastery, a retreat, or quitting your job. It starts small, so small you might miss it if you're not looking. Here are a few ways to start today. The mindful pause. Before you respond to anything emotional, an email, a message, a confrontation, pause, breathe, count to 5. In that space, regain your composure and choose your response. Silent time. Carve out 5 to 10 minutes each day for deliberate silence. No phone, no music, no input. Just sit, journal, walk, or breathe. Let your thoughts settle. Over time, this becomes a sanctuary. Deep listening. In your next conversation, challenge yourself to speak less and listen more. Don't prepare your reply while the other person talks. Really hear them. You'll be surprised how much more powerful your words become when they're used sparingly and mindfully. Silence is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's not an absence of action. It is a deliberate act of strength, a choice to respond instead of react, a method to gain clarity in confusion, a way to lead with presence instead of noise. In a world that is louder, faster, and more chaotic than ever, silence is the ultimate rebellion and the truest form of power you can reclaim. So try it. Reclaim a little silence in your life this week. Use it to shield yourself, to sharpen your mind, to deepen your relationships, and to find peace with what is. If this message resonated with you, give it a like and subscribe for more ancient wisdom made modern. And now a question for you. What's one area of your life where you're going to practice deliberate silence this week? Let us know in the comments.